Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. It is Marcello Nino here with Nino FX Trader. He is a pro Forex trader, and today is March 12th, 2014. What we're going to do today is what we've done for years, which is an analysis of the markets and evaluation of our strategies, which are based, or our biases, which are based upon the 5 p.m. close of our daily bars. Thereafter, we will briefly go over some of the trades that we have taken, and if those trades or those biases have done well or not well, we'll tell you both sides of it, and that's what we'll do. And having said that, let's talk about how it works. So basically at 5 p.m. or after 5 p.m., because that's the close of the day of our daily candles, we determine the bias. Now, what is the bias? The bias is the probability that price will either go up or down. So if I have a buy bias, I believe that price has a higher probability of moving up in a greater excursion, maximum excursion to the upside than to the downside. What does that mean? That means buy. That means price is going to go up. Sell, price is most likely going to go down. Now, how do we trade these biases? We've got two ways. We can take a set and forget it trade. And set and forget it trade means that basically we take a trade at a certain time, setting our stop loss and our take profit, and we don't look at it again until the end of next day. Price hits our take profit, so be it. If it hits our stop loss, so be it. And if it closes somewhere in the middle, that's where it closes, and we'll deal with it then. The other way to do this is that we day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods. If you don't know what a pod is, then simply go to tribeforex.com and check out our trading course that we have that is completely free for you guys. Please take a look at it when you have the opportunity. So we day trade in the direction of our bias using our pods, our points of decision for bigger profits. Okay, and guys, by the way, day trading, you don't worry about it. You don't have to day trade by yourself. That's why you have Nino here and myself here. Once you join Tribe Forex, you're able to get into a live trade room that Nino will personally coach you through, and will also take trades there. A ton of transparency there, and actually take the trades with you and give you the trade calls. And that happens at 1 a.m. Eastern Time to 3 a.m. and then again at 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and that is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, for instance, today is Wednesday. We're going into the Thursday session. That means that tonight, or in just a few hours at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, he will be trading from 1 to 3, and then again from 8 to 10, covering both the European session and also the New York session. Having said that, guys, let's just go ahead and get to the charts so we can figure out where price is going. So we've had a just amazing run in this market as far as knowing where price was going to go. It's even surprised us because, you know, we're generally about 80–85%, and we've kind of been in the 90 percentile plus area for the last, I would say, about the last month or so. So yesterday we said, let's talk about the pound dollar first. So the pound dollar basically sold off, closed above here, and so right now, guys, we have a kind of a price went down. It really tested the lows, okay, where we were, tried to break through our areas of support, which were our previous Fibonacci ratio areas here. We've got 38.2 and 23.6, and I talked to you about that we could get a bounce off that and a move upward, and that's precisely what happened. We got a bounce off that and move up, closing a little bit ambiguous in that we have we're still below the Bollinger here. We're below the Bollinger, but we're above our Fibonacci's, which were used as bounce points for the pound dollar here. So this close was kind of high, and we have had price movement upward. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a buy bias here on the pound dollar. All right, so let's take a look at the euro dollar. Euro dollar has been a little bit, it's been interesting. So basically, guys, we have been in a range. I'm going to show you that. We've been in a range. We've had this candle here, which looked like a reversal candle, and very well was a reversal candle. And then we had an inside bar, and then another inside bar, and then another inside bar. So we've had a consolidation here on the euro dollar, and what we have now is basically we have two choices here. We've got two choices here. We can see price either continue in the consolidation and really sell off here, and this has been our dilemma, because we could see price really sell off and come back right back into this consolidation. Why do we think that? Now, price had closed above this high that has been the high of our inside breakout, if you will, formation. Then we would definitely be looking for a buy. And if we had gotten above this trend line dates back a couple of years, as Nino and I were talking about earlier. So if we had seen price come above this and really stay above it, then we would have had a buy signal clearly for the euro dollar, but we didn't. So with that, actually, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this trend line above. This is very, very old trend line that I have here. I want you to see where it dates back to. This trend line dates back all the way beginning in 2007. So for that reason, you know, the market reacting where it is, we may have more of a consolidation. And being that we haven't had a breakout, I can totally see why we should look at this and see the potential for a sell. So actually, I am going to I'm going to call it sell on this, which is kind of difficult because usually I like to see the dollar Swiss and the euro dollar do opposite things, but that's not going to happen. So I'm actually going to call a sell here on the euro dollar. I can see where there could be a sell. We could get a bounce off of 139.20, and then price comes back in. Now, if it doesn't work out and price does move up and close above that trend line, then we know what to expect. We expect price to come back down. It's going to touch that trend line, and then it's going to move up, at which point we'd make our money back. So that's what that looks like. It looks like a sell to us. So I spent a lot of time looking at this dollar Swiss and trying to figure out where the dollar Swiss was going to go. Now, guys, yesterday when I spoke to you, I said this is a no-brainer sell on the dollar Swiss, and it was. Basically, we look for price to bounce off of these two trend lines, the 87.77 trend line, that's where price was, and then again 87.85. And what was interesting is that price did exactly what we thought it would do. This was a nice reversal candle, nice retest of these two trend lines, really closing well below these trend lines, the support areas, and really what we saw was a massive move to the downside, and it was just a very clear, and I love it when we have clear signals like that, and those are the best ones. Now from open to sell to low, we had about 45 pips or so. It wasn't a ton of pips, but it was definitely the kind of move that you want to see, and it was exactly what we thought would happen there. All right, so here's what we're looking for on the dollar Swiss. Looking at it, we have a close below the next nearest trend line. I've been trying and racking my head trying to find a area of support so I could call a potential buy. We don't currently have an area of support besides the double zeros. Double zeros means that 8,700. We do have something at 8,700, but it's down here. So until we actually have something else, we got to call a sell here on the dollar Swiss. We have to call a sell on the dollar Swiss. And that one's kind of clear. It's by the numbers. It's a sell on the dollar Swiss. All right, having said that, New Zealand dollar. So the New Zealand, we had a nice reversal candle again, just as we had seen on the euro dollar, and we had seen price basically fall into this consolidation, finally breaking out of this consolidation on the New Zealand and really closing above our trend line, which is months old, a year old. Okay, and so basically what does that mean for us? Basically, we've crossed the threshold, we've broken the trend line, we've also broken the other area of resistance here, which was the high of the reversal candle that we thought we had here, and now we are going to be continually looking for a buy. So I called a sell yesterday, said it was going to sell down to the trend line, and then it was going to bounce up, and that's precisely what we see happening. Now we are in this apex, guys. We have an acknowledgement of this trend line to the bottom side, the support area, and we have an acknowledgement of the upside of the support, the resistance area at the upside at the top here. Okay, so we just had a breakout of that, and more likely than not, we're going to see a continuation in price movement up here on the New Zealand. So we've got a buy on the New Zealand. Now, of all the signals, it's clear. Now, if you're a part of the Build Wealth program, you probably got into a buy yesterday on the Aussie dollar with us. And what the call was and what we were looking for, guys, is that we looked for price to get below here to really test this trend line here at 89.44. Easily we could have taken a sell. You know, if you had said sell bias here, you could have made money too. Okay, we could have made money on the sell here, absolutely. And you can see it dropped about 50 pips. But we didn't. We took a buy though, and we took a buy at these areas of support really right down here at right around 89.30. Okay, so right around 89.30, really at the bottom here where the trend line is, and I can actually tell you exactly where we took a buy. You can see the trend line here, and you can see this beautiful double bottom here where we really got to see price really take off. We actually took a we took a buy right here. All right, so it was about 89.40 that we ended up taking a buy and making above 50 pips on this trade, and that was basically where price was. So from the very bottom, we were able to take a buy right there, right off this area of support, and right below this, right at this trend line, so right below the trend line there, and we got two tests of that. So you see the support areas, you see these two trend lines, you see this support area below it, and it just spells for a need for price to move up most likely from that point, and that's exactly what we did. We saw that price move up. So if you're a part of the Build Wealth program, you're able to make a % or two off of that, as we risked about 0.5% on that. A little bit less than 0.5% on that trade. All right, so having said that, let's move on. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, we had drawn a trend line to the upside, and that's all we knew about this thing. And actually, I'm going to draw a trend line to the low side as well, because we're working on a beautiful flag here. So what I'm going to look for on the dollar CAD, I rarely called the dollar CAD recently because of the consolidation, but the consolidation is now working itself into being something that we can actually use and something that can be potentially a higher probability. So 1.1156 is where you know, the resistance area is. I'm looking for price to drop on this dollar CAD, so I'm looking for a sell on the dollar CAD, and that looks pretty strong. All right, so looking at the euro yen. All right, so the euro yen here, guys, we had this consolidation. You can see that I colored this and highlighted it in a blue rectangular box. And so what you see here is three inside bars in a four bar sequence. And what we're going to look for is we had a beautiful bounce right off the 23.6. Once again, we called this to the numbers. We called a buy on here, and we said there was going to be a bounce off the 23.6, and that's precisely what happened. This would have actually been a very nice trade for us. I'd like to see how many pips it was. Did not take that one there as well. About 50 pips or so, so it's about the same. So the Aussie dollar was a safer bet for sure. So anyway, we got the very same formation that we saw in the Aussie dollar. Basically, price goes down to support and bounces right off of it. And guys, what I like about this trade is, yeah, price can continue to move down because we do have a bigger flag that we're working in. But for the time being, we do have this reversal candle right on the 23.6 fib area, and we are still inside of our area of support and resistance, which is our consolidation area, okay? And so what does that mean for us? That means from where we're standing right now, price is more likely than not to move up to this area of resistance again, which is the trend line above. And once it comes to that point, then we'll see what happens. More likely it's going to begin to move downward, which we have a big downside to about 200 pips, so about 250 pips from the upside. So if we can get that sell-off here, that's probably a very good place to get in. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. If we get to the top of this band and price does give us acknowledgement once again of this trend line, then we will be looking for a sell-off. Right now we're looking for a buy back up to the top of this channel for a retest of this trend line. That's what it's showing us for now because we haven't had a breakout of this consolidation. We're at the bottom of the consolidation, and so we're looking for price to move back into the consolidation to the upside. So that's a buy bias on the euro yen. Dollar yen, I don't really have a call, guys. We had price close above this band here, above this area of support, and now it's just kind of hanging out there. So we could see a buy back on the dollar yen. It's not very well detailed, and there's nothing that's telling us that besides the close above. So I'm not going to call that. It's not a high probability scenario, nor is the pound yen for that matter. We could see a buy or a sell off of that, but I do think we're probably going to see a buy on the dollar yen, a buy on the pound yen as well. Okay, but those are not clear signals for us. Oil continues to drop. I said yesterday that we closed above the 50 MA, so we had to be looking for a retest of the 50 MA and then a drop, and that's precisely what happened here on oil. And so that's it. So let me do my recap here. I'm looking for a buy on the pound dollar. I'm looking for it's tough to call this on the euro dollar. I want to call a buy and I want to call a sell at the same time. So for that reason, you know what, I'm going to stay out of the euro dollar for now. But it's in consolidation. So guys, what that means is if you are looking to trade the euro dollar, you may be looking for signs of a sell here at the top. Now, if you're around at 1 to 3 a.m. or at 8 to 10 a.m., you can get with Nino and really see, because he's going to play a consolidation play here. So if we get a bounce off the low, he's going to take a buy. If we get a bounce off the high, he's going to take a sell. That's how it's going to go, most likely. Dollar Swiss, I'm looking for a sell. We have no choice but to take a sell there. I just said the pound dollar was a buy. The New Zealand is a buy. The Aussie dollar is the strongest buy that we have, I believe. Dollar CAD is a sell. Okay, we're going to be looking for a sell in dollar CAD. Euro yen is also another strong buy, I would say here. Dollar yen, pound yen are tenuous, not very strong connection to technical analysis here. And for that reason, although I think there's potential for buy here because we have the 50 EMA below it, it's not the call that we're going to take. So dollar yen, pound yen, we're not going to take that. And oil continues to drop. We may have a retrace, but there's nothing enough to do but to look for a sell here. And that's about it. That is our call. Those are our calls, actually, for the time being. Nino, did you have anything to add, by the way? Okay, maybe not. So with that, guys, happy trading. I think that we're going to have another good trading session. For my purposes, for me personally, I like the way the Aussie dollar looks right now, just because we have so much support underneath it, and I think there are good opportunities there. I think that the euro yen also looks good because we're getting a buy signal. It's bouncing off support, and it's moving us right back into that consolidation. So it's not like we have to believe for a breakout for price to move up here. We don't. So if price does move down, breakouts happen about 15 to 20% of the time. So, we are definitely moving in the right direction on this euro yen from a probability standpoint. And so those are some of the pairs that I'm looking at. Euro yen, Aussie dollar, I think are good pairs to look at. And the New Zealand continues to move up. So that's it. And with that, guys, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow to see how price played out for us, and also just so that we can talk about this thing. And also to see how Nino and the crew there in our trade room have actually done. With that, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in our next session. All the best and happy trading. Bye-bye.